stage. But let me reshare this screen to make sure this works perfectly. 1, 2, and 3. Folks, let's kick this off. Hello, 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 and welcome to the ecosystem call for February. I am thrilled to have you guys here. Is the screen black or is it working well? I can't tell in the chat. It seems to be going. The W's are flowing already. We're going to start this off the same way we always do. A little bit of theme music.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the Solana ecosystem call. Tonight, Farcaster, Bryan Johnson, Jupiter, Grass Protocol, OX People. With your host, Cash Donda.
Oh, thank you very much. Please hold your... I do appreciate it. Folks, how's it going? Thanks for coming out. I see Tamar is here, who is just the greatest. And so many of my other friends are here. Welcome to the Solana ecosystem call for February. If it is your first time here, let me tell you why we do this call at all. See, this is not a call about prices. This is not a call about how to get rich quick or which tokens you should buy. That is just the noise. This call is about the signal, right? This call is about the community of builders that are Solana, who are building real value for real people every day. On this call is a group of people who want permissionless finance. They want global access to opportunities. They want new ways to coordinate labor. They want communities to have ownership and creators to make a living. And ultimately, we want people to be self-sovereign. You all want the same, or you would not be on this call right now. And it's not just that we want it. It is that we can do it. All of us right here. We are the right people at the right time in crypto. And that's what this call is all about. Can I get an amen in the chat, please? Can I get an amen in the chat, please? Thank you very much. All right, so that is what we're going to try and do here. The secret sauce to this call, by the way, is in fact the chat. If you are watching us on Twitter, hello. Come over to the Zoom. It is zoom.superteam.fun, so you can participate in the chat as well. It is going to be a great time. Keep it open, honest, make some jokes in there, throw in some links, make it funny, keep it light. It's all good. Critically, make sure that your chat is set to everyone if you're here on the Zoom call. If your chat's not sent to everybody, you will not be seen by everybody. So that's the thing. Who's going to airdrop amen, says Beeman. Yeah, at some point, maybe that should be the thing. Folks, we have a corker of a call today, which I've been told is not a term that anyone outside of me knows what that means. It means a good call. We got a corker. Here's the agenda today. We're going to go through the wins of the month. Then we're going to have Mr. Dan Romero from Farcaster. Dan, if you're in the crowd right now, please do raise your hand so I can bring you up on stage. Oh, there he is. Let me bring him up. Promote to panelist. Then we're going to talk about the state of Solana. We have longevity x crypto. If we can get Bryan Johnson, who's here and can raise his hand as well, we'll bring him up on stage. That'd be great. Deep empowering AI with Dredge from Grass. There's going to be a Breakpoint ticket giveaway, folks. Jupuary in review, plus an exclusive bounty. OX People launching for the very first time here on the call. Work to earn, and then a world premiere of boycotting the Solana phone and why you should boycott it. I love the fact that there's so many Farcaster W's already in the chat. Farcaster is sick. If you haven't tried it out yet, you're going to hear more about it in a second. Stay until the end for all the giveaways and the POAPs. I promise you will not regret it. If you are watching this as well, we have bounties out. So for a recap thread of this call on Twitter, we'll give you $50. Same thing on Warpcast. So go use Warpcast. If you post a thread there, the best one will get $50. You can then post it on earn.superteam.fun. And I do want to give a real quick shout out to all of the IRL watch parties. We have 20 of them around the world right now. You can see some of them. Let me spotlight some of this. Maybe we get one from, let's add a little spotlight to the Founders Villa over here. Shout out to the Founders Villa. Love to see that. All those people coming together in the swankiest of places. I know we got a great one here in Nigeria. Zuby, can we get a little wave from the gang in Nigeria? What's going on, folks? Everyone looking great in the merch, by the way. I got to get some of that Super Team Nigeria merch. Sierra Leone, we already said hi once. We're going to say hi one more time yet again. Shout out Sierra Leone. Love the energy. Feeling good. Who else do we have here? We got Toronto in the building over here. What's going on? The Solana Toronto really starting to pick up for folks over in Canada. There's a good community brewing there. And then last, but let's actually show off the NYC office as well. These are all the folks what's going on. You guys are live streaming to the world. What's going on? The most energetic of all of them so far, potentially. Oh, shit. I got to get some streamers for myself next time. That's pretty good. And then finally, we have the Chads over at Mountain DAO. What's going on, my Mountain DAO friends over here? Folks, Mountain DAO is going on right now. Chase, can you give us a quick like a 360 view of what you guys have over there? You might need to unmute as well.
Yeah, so can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
I got some. So we got these people here at Mountain DAO. Like I think there's 109 people that have been here over the first week. A lot of the devs are still sleeping. There's workshops going on. There's actually like video recordings being done for like a bunch of developers here. There's like so much stuff going on. I think the total accepted attendance over the next 4 weeks is like 400 people. I think that yeah, that's where we are right now.
Pretty fantastic, folks. If you are in America and you have access to a plane or to a car or an automobile, or you just have very long legs, do make your way over to Mountain DAO. It is going to be fantastic. People are surprised Chase is alive in the chat, which is a little bit surprising, I guess, as well. But with Chase from week to week, you don't know. He's the man lives a life. I can't wait to read his autobiography someday. All right, folks, if you want to host hello from the Ukraine. I know we have so many other great meetups. I wish we could have time to show them all. If you want to host one for the next ecosystem call, do stay tuned to the Super Team Twitter. We will be having more and more meetups. And I think that there's another like 30 meetups tomorrow to do replay parties for this as well, which is crazy. Okay, so those are all the watch parties. Shout out to everyone. That's how it's going to work. We're now going to get right into the action here, folks. We're going to get into what is, I think, many people's favorite part of the call, the wins of the month. The wins of the month. There we go. I knew I had a song for it. Wins of the month. Shout out to Brazil, Ukraine, Bucharest. I see everyone's here. The W's are already flown. We haven't even started, which is pretty incredible. Let's get going first with the shipments this month that have been taking place. Number one, the chapter 2 is actually beginning here, folks. 85,000 pre-orders in 3 weeks, which is just bananas. The second snapshot is on the way, so you should keep referring. If you haven't already gotten one, you should. I'm going to be getting one myself. I can recommend it. And for the record, everyone who pre-orders will get a token for any future airdrops that people might want to do. I believe that Jupiter, Tensor, and a few others have already committed to doing some airdrops for these groups, so you might want to check that out. We'll have a little reason not to buy it at the end of the call. But shout out to the Solana mobile team and everyone else dropping W's in the chat. Win number 2 is a big one here. Token extensions are live. They are officially named, no longer token 22. This is, I think, a major area for growth for all of Solana, right? I talk a lot about real world assets being the future of DeFi on chain, and I think token extensions allow that to happen. The way to think about it is they allow any token to have superpowers, right? So if you are, let's say, an enterprise who is regulated by some kind of government around the world, you got to know whose assets are where at given times, be able to take them back. Token extensions allow you to do that now in minutes rather than spending weeks or months figuring that out. So this is going to bring a wave of adoption from enterprises, from regulated companies, payments companies, and by the way, it's going to open up whole new use cases for builders like you who are watching this right now. Can I get a little W for RWA in the chat, please? Because I think that this well deserves a big shout out to the labs team who put this all together. Win number 3, the GOATs. I mean, we talk about Tensor all the time because I just love these guys so much. They shipped Price Lock, where you can now basically do an option on the price of any NFT. You can go long or short an NFT without actually buying it. You want to go long Mad Lads because you know it's a great community. You also know that they're pretty expensive at this point. No fear, you can now go long on Mad Lads using Tensor. Only possible on Solana. We love to see it. Long on cash, says Davia. Shout out to Davia, founding member of Super Team. Did I just show Mad Lads? I'll show Mad Lads all day long. Win number 4. Big shout out to Dialect, who shipped the Operator, which is an LLM-based trading bot fully within Telegram. I know a bunch of people have been using this and loving it as well. Anyone who hasn't tried it out yet, I encourage you to go try it out, and you will be able to see how good it is. It's built by Ryan Gosling and the rest of the Dialect team. So big shout out to Ryan and the rest of the team. And then win number 5, we have Helios. Fun fact, Mert, in addition to being just the best guy on Twitter, is also a very high quality founder and is constantly shipping great products. Here they've shipped the Smart Solana Fees API. As more people come to Solana, the API allows you to set your fees correctly, make it easier to make sure those transactions go through. Somebody said Mert is still bald in the chat. That is correct. And that's really all you need to know to use Helios. And then finally, win number 6 in the shipment side. Big shout out to Maddie, Clay, and Nate and the rest of the gang and Maddie's in the chat. Drop a little W for Maddie in the chat right here. Coliseum has officially launched. Maddie was the head of the hackathons for the last few years at the Solana Foundation. They now will be running hackathons. They have an accelerator for the best teams from the hackathons and a venture fund. Just don't call them the Y Combinator of crypto because they are more than that. But love to see that. And that mentor list, pretty good. Just got to say, your boy might be on it himself. All right. Next set of wins. A16Z is here. I'd like to hear that. Next set of wins is around doing numbers. This is the section where we talk about some of the big numbers that have been happening here on Solana. We got to start with the obvious one here. Did anyone participate in Jupuary? Can I get a little W for Jupuary in the chat if anyone was a part of that? Yeah, it seems like a few people were. $600 million was airdropped in Jupuary, folks, claimed by 500,000 people. These are the kind of numbers that you only can see on Solana. 1, because there's tons of users on Solana. 2, because everyone uses Jup because it's the best product in DeFi. And 3, because you need a fast and cheap network to kind of support all this. $1 billion in DEX volume. Incredible. Big shout out to the Jupiter team. Many of them are here right now. All the RPC providers, Triton, Helios, and everyone else, and to Mertz Chiropractor, because God knows the man needed a massage after that nightmarish day for him. Win number 8, OPOS in the chat. I like to see that. That's a fact. We'll hear more about that, by the way. Siong, the co-founder, is here. We'll get a little bit of a deeper dive later on. Win number 8, Solana passed $300 billion in monthly stablecoin volume. $300 billion. This is not rocket surgery, folks. Stablecoins have product market fit. Solana has product market fit for stablecoins. Life is good over here. So shout out to all the stablecoin teams who are making this happen. 300 billion, just so much money. Win number 9, the Solana developer ecosystem, which is mostly people on this call, has grown 10x since 2020, according to the Electric Capital report. Breaking news. Hold on. Nope. Breaking news, Solana devs got that dog in them. I spent so long getting that sound effect, and then I forgot to use it initially. I do apologize but it is a fact that they have the dog in them. Win number 10. Any dogs in the audience? Yeah, a few dogs in the audience over here. Win number 10, Ironforge, managing 10 million RPC requests an hour. I love this. Ironforge allows you to use multiple RPC, so if ever one gets overloaded, you can then use the next one. They were doing 20,000 RPC requests per second during Jupuary. 5 billion in the month of January. Love to see it. Just incredible numbers. And then win number 11, NFTs continuing to crush on Solana. In a single week, 100,000 unique wallets buying NFTs, right? We're seeing more new wallets, 22,000 new wallets coming active for Solana NFTs here. The W's stay on. This is the chat says. That's a fact. If you are watching right now on Twitter, come on over to the zoom.superteam.fun. You'll have a great time with everybody. That takes us into the community wins. And boy, were there a few community wins. Number 1 amongst them, we had the Don't Die community coming on Solana. Shout out to Bryan Johnson, who should be on here in a little bit. Bryan, if you're already in the audience, please do raise your hand, or maybe you're already on stage and I missed that. So that way we can bring you up here as well. Did an excellent drip campaign. Shout out to Vibu and the rest. Oh, there's Bryan right there. He's already on stage. Perfect. Bryan, we'll dive into this in just a little bit. I know a lot of people were excited. Big shout out to, obviously, Bryan. To Akshay BD, who many of you know, who really helped put a lot of this together. DGen Poet on the artist side, and the drip team. Win number 13. Metaplex startup program has begun. I got to go faster now because, God, there's so many wins. We don't have time for all of these all. I've never seen a Zoom meeting chat so active. That's a fact. Welcome to the ecosystem call, my friends. The Metaplex startup program has started. If you are a builder and you want to access this, I highly recommend it. Metaplex has been around since the beginning, built the NFT standard initially, ready to give you support. Reach out to them. Win number 14. God, the W's are flying. Win number 14, Anza has announced a new validated client. More client diversity is better. Maybe you heard, network went down for a little bit on Tuesday. That's because most people are still, that's one of the reasons, is we're mostly dependent on one validated client. We need diversity. That's going to build up resilience and make sure the network can stay up more often. Anza, formed by a bunch of Solana Labs folks, has spun out, and they are now building, I think, the 4th or the 5th validated client, which we love to see. So big shout out to them. I can't even read what people are saying in the chat because the W's are flowing too fast. Win number 15. This one has a special place in my heart. I'm a little bit biased, but I think this is a pretty big win. We have 3 new super teams starting around the world right now. We have Super Team Philippines, led by Eli and Emerson. We have Super Team Malaysia, led by Henry. And we have Super Team Balkans, led by Primo, Marco in the chat, as well as Joseph from D-Reader and Mattia from the Heist team. Please do drop a little GM if you see them. Give them a follow. And if you're in those markets, get involved where they are ready to help you learn, earn, and build. Yeah, people are pretty excited, it seems like, in the chat. Win number 16 on the community side. Mountain Down, the Founders Villa have kicked off. God, I really need to speed this up here. So we have some great IRL events. So if you are in either of those places, do not miss it. Get over there. And then win number 17. This is a special one. He's in the chat right now. I don't know if people are following w.soul, but he's my new favorite account on Twitter. w.soul, all he does is go around and drop those W's one by one, all by hand. Give a little W to w.soul in the chat. Keeping the community feeling great, even outside of the ecosystem call, which we love to see. Last section. I promise I'm almost done, folks. We'll get to Dan Romero in just a second, but we like the tech, and we got to celebrate people liking the Solana tech. Win number 18 here. There's going to be a Japanese stablecoin, the yen stablecoin, first of its kind, launched on Solana. Why? Stablecoins have product market fit. Solana has product market fit for stablecoins. Life is good. So we'd love to see it. More Forex markets coming on. I think I saw Anna over at Mountain DAO as well. So shout out to Anna and everybody else on the team who's helping bring these coins on and build out these markets. Telefonica is launching Helium hotspots in Mexico. I know we have a bunch of people in Mexico on this call. Shout out to all of them. So Helium now expanding rapidly, one of my favorite Solana projects. And then I can finally take a breath, Jesus Christ, because Solana is also coming to Farcaster. And on that note, I would love to bring up onto the stage one of the, I think, best minds in all of crypto. I've been following him for a long time and very impressed. One of the best builders around. Excellent beard as well. Used to work at Coinbase. Has been grinding through the bear market on Farcaster, turning it into a juggernaut. Please drop a little GM for our guy, Dan Romero. Dan, how you doing, my friend?
Good. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for coming on. Kind of last minute notice, I know. But I have a few questions for you that I wanted to go through. We can keep this kind of quick because I know you also have to jump for something else pretty soon. To start off with, can you let the people know a little bit about Farcaster? I think a lot of folks in the Solana community spend most of their time on Twitter rather than on Warpcast or whatever else. Can you give us like the 60-second kind of down low on what the difference is between Twitter and the culture that you guys are building over there?
Sure. So Farcaster is a decentralized social network. It's a protocol. And it makes two strong guarantees. So for developers, if you build an app on Farcaster, you have a direct relationship with the users using your app. So there's no third-party middleman that can come in and snip the API access, which has happened on Twitter multiple times. And in an earlier era, Facebook actually had an app platform, which developers were building on, only to have Facebook decide that they didn't want to have that platform anymore, and they changed the APIs overnight. So can't happen on Farcaster. So that's the first guarantee.
Huge.
And then the second guarantee, not for necessarily developers, but for creators or people building an audience, is you have a direct relationship with your audience. So if you've spent time building an audience on Twitter or YouTube or any of the kind of big Web2 social networks, things are good. Like you get a lot of distribution. You can kind of use that to market your product or build a business. And overnight, on a whim, those networks can just take away your following, and there's no recourse. You can't go sue them for your audience. It's against, it's the terms of service. And there's not even a chance to export, right? Like, oh, I'm no longer here, follow me here. And on Farcaster, you can't do that. So those are the kind of two core guarantees. But I think from a user standpoint, what is Farcaster is if you download the app Warpcast. By the way, we're down right now. If you're trying to sign up, we're getting DDoSed. Which
suffering from success, I think that's called.
Well, it's actually an important thing. Warpcast, the core teams app, is down right now. The other clients, Supercast being one of them, they're totally unaffected. So the protocol itself, the kind of base layer protocol, Farcaster, distributed system, decentralized, that's totally unaffected. And it's actually the big kind of like centralized client right here, the one that we run, we're getting DDoSed. So it is not, in theory, decentralized. It is actually decentralized at this point.
Practically decentralized. That I think is super fun. And I think one of the things that's driving a lot of the attention on Farcaster right now is a pretty significant innovation that you guys have had, which is on the frames side of things. For anyone who doesn't know, can you explain what frames are and what makes them so exciting?
Sure. So if you were to use the kind of Warpcast app, the kind of main app on Farcaster today, look a lot like Twitter. A little bit of a hybrid between Twitter and Reddit. We have this concept of called channels, which are kind of like subreddits. But for the most part, you'd open it up and say, okay, I get this. I understand what it is. What we added 2 weeks ago, which has really kind of kicked off a ton of growth for us, is a new feature called frames. And the simplest way to think about it is if you think of Twitter, a tweet is pretty static. You add text, image, maybe video. And then there's one type of tweet on Twitter that is interactive. That's a poll. And you have the ability to add a few kind of, question and then a few answers, and then you're able to kind of click and interact with that. But what's important is there's only one type of interactive poll or, tweet, and Twitter decides exactly the functionality and what you can do with it. And so what frames are a canvas for developers. We give you a spot for an image, up to 4 buttons, and you can do whatever you want with it. And so with that amount of freedom, quickly within the last 2 weeks, we've had thousands of developers build hundreds of different types of frames. And they've gotten really, really creative because we allow you to do whatever you want. And actually today, frames don't even have like a great hook to being on chain. That didn't stop developers from figuring out how to use the kind of signatures that when you click a button on frame, it's kind of a signed request coming from your account. So you can kind of prove who's doing it. People figured out how to do that stuff on chain. And actually people have figured it out how to do stuff on Solana, even though Farcaster today doesn't actually have, native Solana support.
Well, what a fantastic segue, because that is indeed my last and perhaps most pressing question is, simply, when?
So we have the code ready. We are undergoing a lot of growth right now and trying to kind of keep things stable, both at the kind of Warpcast level and then which is where most users are using it today, and then the protocol level. It will be a protocol level change. And from an architecture standpoint, the way you think of a Farcaster is we're 99% off chain. We have our own kind of system called Farcaster hubs. If you go to like farcaster.xyz and look at the docs, you can kind of see the architecture overview. But we've been building this system for the last 3 years. And what it allows us to do is actually be kind of chain agnostic for the core part of the social network. And so what we are planning to do when we launch, hopefully in the next 2-3 days, maybe it slips early next week, is the ability for any user to add a Solana address to their Farcaster kind of profile on this kind of decentralized network. We call our servers hubs. And in doing so, that immediately becomes permissionless for any developer building an app or a frame to be able to interact with the user on Solana. And so the simplest example of this will be the very popular frames right now are mint frames. So you have a link that shows up in the feed. You're able to click it. There is no connect wallet. There's no, any transaction. It just immediately drops an NFT in your wallet. And that now will have the ability to just say, oh, well, I want to drop the NFT on a Solana address. And so users that have a Solana address will be able to be eligible for the NFT. So what I find that I think will be useful here is, one, developers now have more freedom to choose a different chain if they want, in terms of if Solana is the best chain for them, for their application, they're going to be able to do that. And then I think on the other side, which is important, it's actually going to be a growth driver in terms of users who may not have even had a Solana wallet before now see a potentially interesting NFT or frame in their feed are actually going to be motivated to set up a wallet or have a wallet set up for them by the developer through a frame. And so I hope that it ends up being a great distribution case for Solana developers, as well as users maybe getting their first interaction with Solana.
I'm sure it will be, folks. I don't want to I'm not just saying this because I'm looking at Dan in the eye right now, but I was late to Farcaster. I'll be the first to admit I didn't get on until relatively recently, and it has been a real joy. I actually created a frame. Shout out to the FBI, the frame builders of India, Samya and Abhishek, who put it together. In like less than an hour, they were able to build a frame that allows to do event signups directly within Warpcast. I had like 18 followers. We somehow generated more signups through that than my tweet on Twitter, where I have 13,500 followers. So the engagement level is crazy. The experimentation is crazy. And I'm very excited to see the other developments that start to come through. Dan, that's all the time we got. But I know everyone on this call is going to be very excited to see Solana launch in the next day or two. Any last things that you want to say to the people at home?
Yeah. So what I would say is give us a few hours to get the signups back up. And then I think at that point, just pay attention because I'll announce on Twitter, I'll announce on Farcaster, and I'll probably try to get Toli and Mert to boost once Solana support is live. And looking forward to seeing a lot of you on Farcaster.
Fantastic. That's good. I think I saw someone in the chat said you are the man making Elon cry, which is great for all of us. You and Persona both.
And we're making progress. We have a ways to go.
Always, hey, you're still early, but it's great. We will see you all over there. Thanks so much for coming on, Dan.
One shout out. I've known Siong for a very long time. Good to see you, Siong. I love what you're doing with Jupe.
The fun fact here, I learned this just when I was talking to Siong the other day. Dan and Siong used to be roommates like 12 years ago in New York or something like this, right? Like that's
Silicon Valley.
Silicon Valley, excuse me. So look at the ecosystem call. We're bringing the global community together. We're bringing old friends back together as well. You know, drop a little W in the chat for old friends coming back together. All right, Dan, thank you so much. We're going to continue on with the agenda now, folks. We have, of course, State of Solana. We'll be going over to Bryan Johnson in just a second, but before we do, I see Moray in the chat say Cash and I are old friends. That is true. Quick update on the state of Solana itself. Spoiler alert, a lot of good stuff happening. So here are the big stats. A number of them have gone up, which is great. The big one I like, true TPS. This is not including the validator transactions or voting transactions, 900. Love it. 900 per second. Just incredible. I'm not trying to take shots at anyone else, but I do believe this is the highest that you're going to see in production, which is pretty incredible. Somebody said days of uptime in the chat. That number is a little bit lower now. We were so close to 1 year. I will tell you this. I don't think that was the last time Solana will go. It's possibly not the last time Solana is going to go down. This shit is complicated. When you're trying to synchronize the world at the speed of light, things sometimes go wrong. And so it goes. But we were back up quickly. Love to see. Shout out to the validator community for doing that. And by the way, you might have seen the number of staking accounts has gone up, which is great. Go stake your goddamn soul. You've heard me say it a million times. Validators are down month over month. Just as a quick explanation, that is because of a change in the Solana Foundation delegation program, where they've cut some of the fat, gotten rid of some of the bad actors, and so that has reduced. It's okay. Generally love things that go down. All right. So a few other quick announcements here. Active Wallets has gone up, by the way, as well. Total Value Locked has gone up, by the way. I do want to give a special shout out to the first ever content hackathon. I know, are there any like writers or creatives in the chat? Can you drop a little W if you are not a developer and you are here? Yes. Oh, is that Angel? I saw my guy Angel here from Sphere and the rest. All right, cool. So we have a bunch of people. There are $135,000 in prizes right now for anyone to compete for by just writing essays, creating content, doing all that kind of stuff. Go check out Super Team Earn. Big shout out to Lamport DAO, Solana Collective, Cubic, and Mountain DAO, Helios as well for pushing this forward. Love this effort. All on Super Team Earn. Hashtag it's good now. Second announcement is that the 2024 Hacker Houses lineups are out. So please do try to get to one of these. I will be in Dubai, London, and Bangalore. So if you like any of those cities or you like me, come hang out. Shout out to Ellie and the rest. And then we also have a new series of events coming out through Super Team that I just wanted to quickly shout out here. At Super Team, we believe that earning your crypto is the best way to get it, right? By contributing your time and your talents rather than just your capital to enter the ecosystem, you will find a kind of a magical onboarding experience. And so to help make this happen, we are doing events all around the world called Cash Landings, a name I did not come up with, so don't think that I'm being a narcissist by calling it that. These are a series of meetups where we discuss all the ways that you can earn, whether it's through bounties, grants, jobs, DePIN, and everything else in between. Please do go check out the site. If someone can drop the link in the chat, you can apply to host, and you should definitely apply to go. I think we have 15 cities already live. This is going to be really exciting, and we'd love for you to host. We'll cover all the costs. We will pay you to host this. There's a great agenda. We'll give you all the materials you need to crush it in your city. Cash Landing coming, cash with a C, but yeah, pretty close, pretty close. And then last thing, I think real quick, here is the Moonshots grant program that we're also starting via Super Team and the Solana Foundation. Now $20,000 grants are on the table. Go to Super Team Earn to go check those out. Cash Landing rules everything around me, says Graffiti. There we go. This is a really exciting program as well for people who are going full-time doing GigaBrain stuff. We want to support you with equity-free grants. You can go check this out now. There are a bunch of upcoming events, including the Mad Lads meetup. We have the DLM with Meteora. I'll be doing that with Ben over there. Solana All-Stars. Big shout out to Solana All-Stars, who I think are in the chat right now. Have meetups happening all throughout February. There's token extension workshops and more and more. Just screenshot this. You can figure this out later. And then lastly, I did want to shout out some of the teams that are doing points. Again, Camino, Tensor, Parcel, Magic Eden Drift, Meteora. These are the ways that you can actually start to earn those points that are live for those that want to. And yes, if you do want some cash tokens, just say, I'm very easy to flatter in this way. Okay. All right. I think that is about it, folks. We're now going to move into our very special guest, who I know people have been very hyped about. He is a serial entrepreneur. Started off with a sale to eBay of a Braintree for $800 million. He's done Kernel. He's done many other things. Right now, he's all over your socials. You see him everywhere as the leader of the Don't Die movement. Can I get a little GM in the chat for Mr. Bryan Johnson, please? Bryan, how are you doing?
Hi, everyone. Nice to be here.
Thanks for coming out, my friend. Let me go over to this next slide right here. Can I just say, fantastic photo and fantastic branding. Don't Die is like the best community branding I've seen in quite some time. Can you tell the people what Don't Die is all about?
Yeah, it's the thought experiment that if you lived in the year 1870 and the future could whisper into your ear, they may say something like, hey, there are new ideas about these microscopic objects that cause infection. So when a doctor performs surgery, wash their hands before they do it. Apply some kind of hygiene. And at the time, you may say to yourself, that's a crazy idea. You're telling me that something that my eyes cannot see is the source of death. Now, if you would pay attention, you would say, you know what? I'm open to a new idea. And so Don't Die is a contemplation that if the future could whisper in your ear, they may say, don't die. That is the only thing on humanity's to-do list in the early 21st century, that we've reached a certain point of technological and medical ability that we will be able to extend life and health span to degrees that we can't currently contemplate.
Incredible. I think someone in the chat just said bullish on not dying. Yeah, I think it's a pretty impressive clarion call, and it's an incredible community you've already built around the world starting to go on to this. I believe recently you kind of entered the crypto sphere a little bit, and you did a launch campaign with Drip. Can you tell people a little bit about that campaign and how it felt to be welcomed into the crypto community?
First, all of you are so kind. It felt really nice. Yeah, when I was building Braintree, we integrated Coinbase into our system back in 2013. So we were among the very first adopters of cryptocurrency. But then, yeah, I took a hiatus for a while, but now I'm back. I'm excited to be here. We're currently contemplating how we could put Blueprint and Don't Die on chain. And the contemplation is, how could we computationally, algorithmically, methodically build the next evolution of human? You know, proof of workout, proof of sleep, and then proof of age, proof of don't die, and bridge that to things like healthcare, life insurance, and community benefits, all sorts of things that allow you to build out a global community. So I'm really trying to size this up that if we really are thinking about our own progress in the same vein that we think about the progress of AI, what might we do as a species? And I'm trying to elevate to say we need to get after it as a species. Like, it is time we think of ourselves on the same progress curves.
I love that. And I think that crypto in particular is one of its main use cases is helping to kind of like coordinate strangers in a trustless way all across the world. So I think using it to help build up that community makes tons of sense. I think it might have been Kyle Samani or somebody else who I heard talking about turning the Blueprint into like a DePIN kind of movement almost, where you can give points or tokens to those who participate in these large scale experiments.
Yes.
Have you been thinking along those lines at all?
Yes, entirely. I mean, there's all kinds of ways that we could think about how we motivate our own behaviors and collective behaviors and do things together. I mean, there's just, as you all know, you've been speaking this for a while, there's a crisis of confidence in governments. There's a crisis of confidence in authority. And, you know, we are the new power source. And so I'm trying to figure out how to galvanize us as the new source. If we're trying to secure our future, then I'd like us to do it together, not being reliant upon other systems of authority and power. And so that's what we're trying to do, is break down those things and say, how can we as a species, as a group of us in the species, move to Homo evolutus from Homo sapiens, and do so in a systematic way. I mean, with Blueprint, I've been trying to basically figure out, I've become the most measured person in human history, measuring every way I die on a daily basis, and then trying to slow that speed of death, and then trying to regenerate the death that has happened. And so we've got to a point of granularity where you now can have some kind of score, where you can see a number of your current don't die score. And so it's methodically done, and then you're able to understand this given behavior has this kind of cost to me. And that kind of understanding, you know, helps us then map to other things we manage, which is like money in our bank account and social media followers and our weight, where it's a very clear game of knowing inputs, outputs, and the score.
I love that. And someone in the chat just said, when immortality, I guess, is another question. It seems like it's kind of fast approaching. The Blueprint progress, I mean, you've been doing it for years now, and it seems that like every day you're trying new experiments. Do you feel you kind of have got the protocol down now, or is there still evolutions to be had?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you look at my data, I mean, I slowed my speed of aging by the equivalent of 31 years. So I now age at the pace of slower than 86% of the average 18-year-old. So as you get older, you age faster, and aging compounds upon itself. And so that's significant. And then if you look at any one of my hundreds of other biomarkers, I'm in near perfect health. And so we've been able to demonstrate, we pose this as a scientific exploration. If you take the world's best science and you put it all into one human, what happens? And that's what we did with me. The unique thing is we looked at every single scientific paper ever published on health and longevity. We ranked them according to their effect size, and then we graded the evidence. And then we put all that evidence into me, and now we put it into a product. So we're trying to be the best health protocol in human history, and we're trying to show that's true with data.
Love it. Are there any other ways in which you've contemplated crypto potentially supporting or enabling the longevity movement? Any like DeSci projects that you've been interested in or contemplating?
All part of the option set. Yeah, I mean, I've just been dipping my toe into this area, talking to as many people as I can. I understand that this is an emerging community. There's a lot of things that happen, both positively and surprisingly. And so I'm trying to think about how to go about this in a structured and stable way. We definitely want to push the envelope. We also have a very stable thing going with Blueprint, where we have products that are working. We have distribution channels. We're building all kinds of different businesses. And so I want to build on-chain to accelerate this growth and to try to avoid any potential downsides of it. And I know that's not entirely possible, but I'm trying to be really thoughtful how to figure out where to move and why. There's obviously a lot of opportunity and a lot of things we could do. I'm trying to avoid unintended consequences with the mission.
I think that's a responsible way to go. But I think it's two communities, the longevity community and the crypto community, both which have an eye towards the future, both which have an eye on empowering the individual, and both which are, to quote my friend Akshay BD, powered by these bottom-up movements. I think there's a lot of overlap in that Venn diagram. For people who maybe have ideas on how crypto and longevity can start to work together, or in other ways want to get involved in the Blueprint, what is the next step for them? Where should they go? How do they get in touch?
Yeah, so I guess a shout out to Akshay. He and I met up in Singapore over the break. He has been such a wonderful partner on this. He's helped me think through. He's made so many introductions. He's been so friendly. So yeah, if you can reach out to me directly or Akshay, we're really trying to figure out how to pull this off. And there's so many ways to do it. So yeah, I would love to hear your thoughts on how we can do it. And I'd love to be part of the community.
Fantastic. Well, I think I can speak for most people on this call right now. Drop a little W in the chat here for Bryan for coming on the call, and welcome, and drop another extra W for Akshay, who has just been the greatest on many different fronts for this call as well. Bryan, anything else you want to tell the community before we jump here?
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's wonderful to meet you. And I would encourage all of you, be epic Homo sapiens. When the 25th century looks back on us and they are contemplating what allowed intelligence to thrive in the galaxy, and they're looking at the early 21st century, that they'll see us as a group, that we did the things that allow that to happen. And that's really the moment in time we're at, is we're playing the biggest of all games in the universe. This is our moment, and we're lucky to occupy it. So let's do it.
Fantastic, man. I'm fired up now. People, I'm gonna have to have a little hit of Red Bull. This is good stuff, folks. Go find a Don't Die meetup near you. They're on getriver.com. Bryan, thank you so much
Thanks for having me.
coming out. Fantastic. Well, folks, we're going to keep the good times rolling here. We do have a little giveaway that I wanted to shout out. So we're going to be giving away a Breakpoint ticket. It's in Singapore this year in September. It is fantastic. If you haven't been to Breakpoint before, you absolutely should come. If you want to come, stay until the end of the call. Get the POAP, the proof of attendance NFT, and then show that to Diego Armando AD on Twitter. We'll post this afterwards as well. He's got a tweet up, who wants to come to Breakpoint. You can just fill that in, show your screenshot, and say that you want to go, and one person will get a free ticket. We will not pay for your flights just yet. When Solana hits 1,000, maybe I'll start paying for people's flights. I don't know. Right now, we're going to be keeping it just free tickets, which is pretty good. Tickets are $1,000. It's good stuff. All right, so like 1K programmed. Okay, next up, I want to bring to the stage, as we keep going on with these just baller lineup that we have here. The next team here is one that I think is kind of critically underappreciated in crypto. You've heard me say many times that if Solana is to grow and have the impact that we all want to have in the world, we have to create real value for real people, right? And I think that this next protocol is doing exactly that, using a DePIN approach to kind of power the AI revolution. Can you drop a little GM in the chat, please, for my new friend, Dredge from Grass? Dredge, how's it going? Am I saying that right? Let me first say that. I apologize, but we've only talked by text, so I don't know if I'm messing that up.
Yeah, no worries. It's actually Andre.
Andre, as easy as that. It's just Dredge and Telegram, so I wasn't sure. Okay, Andre. Well, it's great to have you, Andre. Thank you for coming on. I think that some people might not even know how much you guys are crushing because you're not as big on, let's say, Solana Twitter or Solana Farcaster, but you're big in the real world. You're big in real life. Can you quickly tell people a little bit about what Grass is, and then we can go into some of the stats that you guys have here so far as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thanks for having me on here, guys, too. So you can think of Grass as something very similar to Hive Mapper, but instead of mapping streets, we're mapping websites on the internet. In our beta right now, we have a network of around 600,000 nodes that are actively scraping language data from all over the public web, applying the necessary pre-processing steps, transformations, etc., and shipping it for ingestion into various AI models. And right now, actually, we're the largest decentralized data protocol by user count.
But yeah, I mean, I just really want to smash this into people's head of just how big you guys actually are. Can you tell people about how much traction you guys have had in such a short time?
Yeah, absolutely. So we launched our closed alpha back in June of 2023. Since then, we've grown from a few thousand users to over 600,000. We're installed on over 2/3 of Saga phones, and we haven't even launched Android yet or opened up any of our other distribution channels. And at the moment, you can only get in with a referral link.
And yet 600,000 users, 190 countries, which is pretty incredible. People are clearly pretty excited and bullish on what's going on with Grass. Very easy to use. I think one of the things that can be helpful for people to understand, right? So it's clear, I love the Hive Mapper analogy of the way that you're kind of data scraping across the world using latent bandwidth or bandwidth that's unused. Can you talk about how Grass fits into the overall AI stack?
Absolutely, yeah. So you've got two ingredients that are present across the entire AI stack. From training to inference, embedding, et cetera. Those two ingredients are compute and data. And we're focused on the data layer, which we feel has actually been a bit underrepresented to date across decentralized AI and that entire ecosystem. At the moment, we're focused on data scraping, but we have some pretty exciting features that are coming soon. We want to add tagging and labeling to our dashboard, a few features for data provenance, embedding, and the list actually goes on. There's a lot of stuff that you can do with data, especially in the AI workflow. And one of our roadmap items is actually to use AI agents to help automate some of the data processing involved here. So there will be more about that soon. But the idea is to have eventually an AI agent living inside the Grass node.
Wow. I think what is so exciting about that is it's a way for people to actually contribute to the kind of AI revolution themselves on an easy level. They can start to earn, of course, and contribute while still kind of retaining full privacy and everything else that comes through, which is pretty great. And you said you'll have like labeling and some other ways for people to add value in addition to just their latent bandwidth as well, right?
Totally. Yeah, absolutely. So like right now, participation is completely passive. All you do is really, I mean, unless you want to start referring people, that's a little bit more active, and you'll get more points. I know you mentioned points earlier. We do have a point system as well, and it does reward referrals quite heavily. So, anyways, yeah, like I was saying, a lot of the participation right now is passive, but we want to add things like labeling. A lot of human hours actually went into training big models like ChatGPT, and a lot of that was like people, like real humans, literally looking at images, video, like listening to sound, like transcribing things, and adding a kind of human flavor to the training data. Because that's necessary. If you want an AI to act like a human, or if you want to get anywhere near AGI, you can't really get there without the help of humans. And there's a paper that came out recently, actually, that showed that only, at the moment, only 25% of this can actually be automated. So we definitely see an opportunity for us to leverage the network effects of DePIN to help us achieve that.
Fantastic. Well, last question here before we jump. Can you tell us a little bit about the decision to leverage Solana in all of this? Why did you choose Solana, and how are you using it?
Absolutely. Yeah. Like I mentioned earlier, we're on over 2/3 of the Solana phones that are currently active. Solana honestly provides just an amazing experience for both developers and users. And we're thrilled about building here. And as far as what we're doing on chain, aside from node incentivization, which is something that's going to be happening at some point this year, we're exploring technologies like zk-TLS to create like proof of request systems that validate the source of data sets. There's a big problem right now in AI, and the problem is called like poisoned data. This can happen in two ways. Like one of them is when a website's purposely showing false data or false links in order to divert AI crawlers. And the other one is if advertisers or malicious parties start tampering with data sets before they get fed into AI models. This is like another problem that Grass aims to solve. And at the moment, it's a process that's only possible on Solana.
That's what we like to see. Let's get a little OPOS in the chat here. Because we have one last thing. Folks, if you are intrigued by what Grass is doing, they have been kind enough to offer attendees of this call who tweet about them right now some free points. So if you scan this link right now, or possibly if you click the link that Trijani will hopefully put into the chat in just a second, you will be taken to an auto tweet. And then, Andre, you guys will be able to give some Grass points out to folks who tweet about you. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Fantastic. So if you want to be a part of what Grass is building, you can do that. If you need a referral code to register, Andre, do you have one that they might be able to use right now? Or we can pop it into the ecosystem, the Telegram group afterwards, if that's easier.
I don't want to overuse mine. I'm sure you'll be able to find one somewhere on Twitter, or if someone wants to drop it in the Q&A.
It seems, yeah, immediately people are starting to fill in the chat with their own.
There we go. Yeah. So yeah, Grass is we're unique in that it's the only way to get involved in decentralized AI for free. All you need is an internet connection and any device that can route traffic. So
fantastic. Cool. Well, Andre, thanks for coming on and telling people about Grass. Everyone, go check it out. I think it's super cool. I love the fact that it's bringing together these powerful narratives, and it's only possible on Solana, which is excellent. Okay, speaking of only possible on Solana, our penultimate guest doesn't really need too much of an introduction. He is a man who is in part responsible for building the best product in DeFi across any chain. He is the man who is responsible for reigniting interest in Solana over the last few weeks. He's the man responsible for dumping hundreds of millions of dollars onto the Solana community. Let me get a jupe in the chat for the co-founder of Jupuary himself, Mr. Siong. Siong, how you doing, my friend?
Good. It's actually pretty late here.
Yeah, it's almost like 3 a.m. for
call.
Siong and for Sana, so shout out to both of them for staying up late. I appreciate you both. But so we can go through this pretty quick then, in that case, because I know this man has not slept very much in the last few weeks. Let's talk a little bit about how Jupuary went in hindsight. Just tell the people, what was that experience like?
I mean, it over the last month has been very exciting, right? We airdrop I think it's like more than 500 million to close to 1 million users, right? But obviously it's not a easy thing to do. If you're on Solana for the last 3 years, every time we do like a simple minting, it will bring the whole network down. Like even a simple like NFT network, a new NFT coming out, the whole network will just like break. So leading up to the Jup token launch, we've been talking to everyone in the ecosystem. Everyone has been very helpful. People from Bryan from Triton, Mert from Helios. They all even Buffalo from Zito. They all gave us all these different ideas, what we can do to get the network prepared, right? But at the same time, we are worried as well, right? So that's why before Jupiter launch, Jup token launch, we did a Ven token launch as well. Basically similar ideas, airdropping to 1 million user to see what kind of traffic we can bring to the Solana network before we will start breaking it, right? Because leading to the Jupiter launch, everyone was like, I think the network will break. Just get ready for it. That's what everyone's expectation was leading to the launch. Yeah, it's actually pretty funny.
I'll admit it, I was nervous myself. I was sweating bullets when it was all
everyone, even our own team is like, oh, should we do a leverage shot on Solana? If anything go wrong, we can
insider trading.
We can make sure that it's we have something like that, right? It's actually very funny. Then the Ven launch went very well. A lot of people that participated in the Ven launch learned a lot from it, right? I remember during the Ven launch, I think Phantom went down. So leading up to the Jupiter launch, they did a lot of work to making sure that everything is working on their their service provider, their RPC and everything. Same thing for us as well. During the Ven launch, I think one of our RPC went down. So leading to the Jup launch, we actually increased the number of our RPC servers from I think 20 servers to 60 or 70 servers just to get ready for the launch. Yeah.
Oh, Bryan and Mert right now are just showering in gold coins. They're having a great time, I'll tell you that. Well, Jupuary, I think was
Yeah.
They deserve it. They've earned it. Provide lots of value. Jupuary was a smashing success. If anyone who's watching this or watching this out in any other world has problems with the team, you're out of your mind. I'll tell you that right now. No VC dollars raised, giving back to the community. Everything I think was really great, and it worked on a technical level as well. So the token airdrop's out of the way. There'll be the next round will be next January, if I'm not mistaken. For the next 4 years, there will be more token airdrops as you continue to decentralize. Can you talk to us a little bit now that the token airdrop is out of the way? Where is the product roadmap going now? What is the kind of key focus, and what is the alpha to share?
Yeah, I mean, like a lot of token, I mean, protocols like on chain, like whether it's Ethereum, Solana, it's like, you have one product, right? Then you launch a token. Then basically like that's it, right? Everything's like up to the DAO, like, what they can decide. But Jupiter is more than just the aggregator, right? We have 4 different products right now. We have the aggregator, we have the limit order, we have the DCA, we have the perpetual product. Actually, the Launchpad is one of the products that we are launching, right? So when token is the first Launchpad projects, then Jupiter token is the second one. So moving forward, right? We announced I think yesterday there are like a few more projects that are coming on the Launchpad that we want to launch as well.
Oh, excellent. Which ones are those?
I think Sharkify,
shout out Anton.
the bridge, and also there's one more that I'm like I don't remember right now, but there are like a few more that we are talking to right now. So Launchpad will be one of the big focus moving forward. Then the second one will be the DAO. The DAO is very important because I mean we also announced it yesterday as well. Like the whole idea is that we want to empower the community to do things that like basically like working with super team, working with like Solana, like Breakpoint, all the events like moving forwards. I think that will be under the the power of the DAO.
Incredible. I know the DAO is going to have a pretty substantial treasury as well to allocate out for marketing purposes.
Right? So we're allocating 100 million Jup token, so it's worth about I think 50 million right now, and also 6 or 7 million USDC into the DAO. So the DAO can decide how they want to spend it. Hopefully on good things. Hopefully on things that are like promoting Solana and also like Jupiter. Yeah.
Fantastic. So if you're watching this and want to get involved, this is the time to do it. If you haven't been involved in DAO governance.
And one more thing. So other than that, right, all the Launchpad moving forward, we will be allocating all this. The DAO can decide as well. So we are not the one who say like, the next project should be like X or Y or Z. The DAO can decide, okay, like based on like how popular it is, like what are the projects seems potential, has the potential to take over and stuff like that. So they can decide what project to launch next. And as part of the process, they will get the allocation as well. So we basically whatever tokens that we get from the project they launch on Launchpad, the tokens will go directly to the DAO community that decide.
Smells like alpha. I think that all the DAOs that are out there, and there's many good ones, Jupe DAO is going to be very close to the top of that list. I got to say, that's pretty great.
Hopefully, yeah.
Hopefully. Listen, I know we're running very short on time, and people have been eagerly awaiting the OX People launch. It's going to come up here in just a second. I wanted to shout out just how much of a goddamn monster the Perpetuals product that you guys have is. If you're looking at this right now, $110 million AUM, almost $10 billion in volume in, I think you said 3 months when we talked, something crazy.
I think we are slightly, since launch, slightly more than 3 months, yes.
Slightly, almost. So it's like 3 billion a month they're doing, just like massively eating the market share. It's incredibly impressive. So if you haven't checked that out yet and you are willing to trade perps, obviously do be careful, understand what you're doing as you go in there. But it's a great product and it's worthwhile. And as a part of that, I know we have an exclusive bounty here for people in the ecosystem call to participate in, to give some feedback on the perps product. So you can go and use it. This is live right now on earn.superteam.fund. You'll get $1,000 or there'll be $1,000 in prize pool for people who give the most valuable feedback. We'll compile that into a report, send it over to the Jupiter team, possibly to the Jupe DAO, and see where we go from there. So do go check out that perps product. Go check out this bounty. It's just using and then giving feedback. Anyone who's watching this call can do it. Siong, anything last to say to the people before you jump?
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of opportunities on the Jupiter DAO coming up. Like, participate in it, like earn some tokens. I'm pretty sure we will bring like we're talking to some very exciting projects right now. They are thinking to launch on the Launchpad.
Cash tokens launching on the Launchpad sometime soon. I don't know. Keep an eye out for it. That's a joke. If it's your first time watching this call, I don't actually have a token. I'm not going to have a token. That is just a joke. But Siong, thank you so much for staying up late and coming on. We do appreciate you, my friend. And that is going to take us into the final little stretch here, folks. I know we're running a little late, but I promise it's worth it. You have been waiting since the beginning of the call for this. This is the official launch on Solana that's about to happen. Allow me to introduce our next guest. Prasanna is what we might call a Giga Chad. He's a man who's already had a multi-billion-dollar company in Web2, Rippling, co-founder of Rippling. He's already built incredible amounts of value, and he's bringing that product expertise into crypto. Please drop a little Giga Chad in the chat for Prasanna, who stayed up till 3 a.m. on some island in Asia just to be here. Prasanna, how you doing?
Thanks for having me, man.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Thanks for staying up late. Super excited about this launch. We have a brand new launch. It's happening right now. They've been building for this call specifically. That's what I love the most here of OX People. I know we're a little short on this, but it is the social network for crypto natives. Prasanna, can you tell the people what is OX People?
Yeah, it's a social network for crypto native people. People who are like spending a lot of their life on chain, people who are doing multiple transactions across like so many different chains. And, fundamentally, I felt like this is a problem that I had, like crypto is like really hard to use. And users have assets across many different chains. And a lot of our lives have moved on chain, right? You can now sort of like follow a user across like many different chains because we use bridges. You can like follow assets moving across all these chains and like, put them all together into the same person. So fundamentally, crypto is a very social product. Like most of us sort of like have a group of friends that we sort of like, do things together with. And B, it's like super hard to use. Like the tools that we use today are built back when crypto was just like developers, right? We had all this proliferation of scan sites, per chain scan sites, which are like really hard to use for like normal people. So, we wanted to fundamentally rethink how people experience crypto. And and make it social, make it more fun. So that's what 0x People is.
That's fantastic. Is there any chance that we could take a little sneak peek at it right now?
Would love to. Yeah, we've been building Solana support for the last month or so, and the Solana community has been super kind. The founders have helped us quite a bit. Akshay BD, is amazing. Hats off to him. So let me sort of like show you what we've got. Let me give a quick sort of product demo. So, so the idea is actually fairly simple. Are you guys able to see my screen?
We are indeed.
Okay, cool. So step one is you connect your Twitter, right? You connect your Twitter, you connect your wallet, you connect your Phantom stuff. Then what we do behind the scenes is we go crawl the people from Twitter and we find them on chain. Like, we put like a crazy amount of like intelligence in finding these people on chain. So, I follow these people on Twitter, like Dan, I follow him on Twitter. We've sort of like located them on chain. We find their wallets, and we are having more and more links between Twitter and our wallets, right? Farcaster and Lens is sort of taking off. Like those are links between Twitter, your profile and your wallets. Friendtech, provided like a huge number of like wallets mapping with like real Twitter accounts. And like, there are a plethora of apps like that, which sort of like, including ENS, .sol names, which sort of like map these people on chain. So, we find your friends on chain, you can follow them. And, you can see what they're doing on chain. So
can we check out what Dan is doing on chain, actually, given that he was just on the call? That'd be interesting to see.
Yeah. So this is Dan, right? We just like, you can see that like, we found a couple of wallets of Dan on chain. And, this is like a Wikipedia, like, everyone is sourcing, anyone in the world can source like who they think is Dan. And like, this is sort of like a wiki source of like, these are Dan's wallets. And you can see what he's doing on chain. We make it like really simple to understand, not like stack traces of Etherscan or whatever, but like, something super simple to understand, right? Like, he sort of sold some ETH for USDC and so on. He's minted this NFT. You can even like, we do a lot of work to figure out like which website which front end is he using to like print these things, which is kind of cool. So maybe let me sort of share my profile and like, show you like,
flex on him, Prasanna. Flex on him. Go ahead. Yeah.
So look, I have a super public profile, and you can see what I've been up to. So these are my activities. I filtered them by chain Solana. So what I've been doing in Solana, you can sort of see in a human readable form here. So I have a huge bag of this thing called Lifinity.
Shout out to Durden, who's great, and the rest of the team over there. We love Lifinity.
So I was an early investor, I put in $1 million or so, and like it's sort of like 8x or something. So I sort of like claim once in a while, claim Lifinity once in a while, and I'm selling it. You can sort of see it sort of fairly clearly, like how it looks like. So you can take a look at my portfolio. So this is the cool part, right? So, you can see, okay, across all my wallets, what do I have in Solana? So you can see these are my holdings. I have like 5.5 million of Lifinity on chain in Solana, across like 5 different wallets. If you like remove the Solana filter, you can see that you can see all my assets across multiple of my EVM wallets, multiple of my Cosmos wallets, and like 5 different Solana wallets, right? I think this is super cool. Like, this doesn't exist before. So you can see like I have 15 million on chain of my assets. And, I have like a 5 million Lifinity bag, 5-6 million Cosmos bag, and, a bunch of assets on Ethereum. So, you can see people's assets across like, different wallets in one place. And, anyone can contribute to like who they think, what wallets they think I own. So these are like other people sort of like guessing which my wallets might be. And, this is the cool part. This sort of like simplifies a lot of the guesswork. So you can see these clusters, which are all my wallets that have been tagged, right? So this is my Solana cluster, like what's happening in my Solana cluster. So if you zoom in to this, you can see like, I have all these wallets which are doing these interactions. And, this thing has interacted with like 4 of my wallets, right? And, you can click on it to see what the heck is this wallet. And you can see, 4 or 5 of my wallets sent money to this thing, and the money went to Binance. So it's like my Binance account. Like basically this is my Binance account, right? So, all this stuff, like, things that you sort of struggle to find, we just like make it super simple to like locate on chain. And it's a social network, you can follow these people like Dan, you can just follow them. And, you get a feed of like what people are doing. So, so for example, in my account, if you go to my Solana activities, so you can see, these are my activities, and like folks in my network are like commenting, hey dude, like what are you up to? And, this is the social experience. This is kind of what we've been up to.
I think it looks pretty interesting. I think that it's got the chat is buzzing on how cool this can be. Folks, I think this is really interesting, both as like a portfolio tracking tool multi-chain, which just does not exist. That is like the fundamental value. And I believe that if you add your wallets to it, you can keep them private, so they're not necessarily fully visible as well, to protect your own privacy for those who want to do that. But being able to see what your friends are investing in, being able to see what kind of action, influencers are taking, or investors, are they holding on or are they not holding on? I don't know. And increasingly, as we see more kind of Web3 social elements coming in and more on-chain actions happening here, I think this is kind of a new way to think about on-chain actions. We are, unfortunately, well out of time, but I see a bunch of people in the chat saying, how do we get access? And I think that is the next step right here. Prasanna, how can people actually get access to OX people?
Yeah, so we have an early access sign up. We would love to sort of like invite folks in this group to like come and try it out, give us feedback. So, we'll sort of share a QR code or a link. You can go to 0xpeople.com and sign out, try the product. You can download the app. Cash, do you have the QR code to put up here?
Let me quickly get it. It was not downloaded for whatever reason, but now it is. In 3, 2, 1, and 2, 3, one more, and boom, there it is. And here it is. Boom. So if people can sign up right here, if you scan this, you will be the literal first people to use OX People live here on the ecosystem call, just for you all. Excellent. Prasanna, thanks for coming on so late and telling the people about OX People. I do encourage everyone to try this app out. You can just scan this. It'll work right away on your mobile side. Any last things that you want to tell the people before we do a little world premiere of a video?
Great, man. I mean, I think I'm super excited to be like a part of crypto. I think we are sort of fundamentally rewriting the internet, and it's super early, and having fun with all of you folks. So thanks for having me.
Fantastic, Prasanna. Thanks for coming on. And everybody, go check this out. If you're having any problems right now, we will also be sharing all the links to everything in the Solana OGs Telegram group after this call, which I'll show a link to in just a second. All right, Prasanna, thank you so much. We are getting close to the end here, folks. I know we're a little bit over, but I promise you it is worth it because those giveaways are just a moment away, along with a fantastic little video. Before we get to those, really quickly, work to earn, ways to earn. There are $10,000 worth of bounties for Tensor over on earn.superteam.fun. Go check that out for all the content creators among you. Super fun, easy to make some money, or not easy to make some money, but a great opportunity to earn some crypto. And then we have a job at Jito. Jito, previous guests on this call, you know them, you love them. They're looking for a senior smart contract engineer. So go to the jobs.solana.com. That's the Solana job board if you're interested in getting involved over there. And as a reminder, if you have work you need done, go check out Super Team Earn. You can find Solana native talent. We have bounties, which are open contests. We have projects. You need a developer, a designer, a landing page, a marketing campaign, whatever else it might be listed on Super Team Earn. It is the best channel for finding Solana talent. And with that said, folks, we have finally gotten to the world premiere that everyone has been waiting for. I know this has been a fun one. Why are Cash and Super Team and Akshay and everyone saying to boycott the Solana phone? Well, you are about to find out, folks. Let me get a little drum roll in the chat, please, before the world premiere over here. Can I get a little drums in the chat? Bought it on the call. There we go. Now, we're getting W's in the chat. I'll take a W. I'll take a drum roll. I'll take whatever. I'm a simple man. I don't ask too many questions. This is the boycott the Solana phone ad. Here we go. 3, 2. And 3, 2, 1.
Every day, countless unfortunate people are out on the streets, forced to observe the homeless. Because helpless Web2 founders can only afford modest luxury cars, but no private jets. But we have the power to create change in their lives. Every time we use our social media, navigation, fitness apps, and give our data away for free, we help a millionaire Web2 founder become a billionaire Web2 founder. But Web2 billionaires are under threat today because of rapid decentralization led by greedy Web3 developers who are building a phone where you get to keep your data. Because of this, Web2 billionaires don't even have access to central heating. They still use the fireplace. They have to fly coach on their maiden space trip. But if all of us share a little bit of our personal data, just a little bit, like our locations, internet history, shopping cart, heart rate, social security number, favorite pizza toppings, a secret crush we stalk on social media at 2 a.m., we can make this world a more inclusive place for billionaires. So today we request you to not pre-order the Solana phone. Because with the Solana phone, you get to own your data and get paid in tokens and airdrops every time you use them. Boycott the Solana phone and help a billionaire today.
There it is. Drop a little W in the chat, folks, for the latest boycott the Solana phone. Help a billionaire today, folks. Major shout out to Davia and the rest of the gang. Davia, Tanmay, Puneet, I think Anirudh More was on it, and somebody else whose name is escaping me as I frankly try to pull this up. Davia, Tanmay, Puneet, and Deep, directed by Davia Bopana, produced by Rigved and Ishita, a Super Team production. We have just posted this to Twitter as well, folks, and we would love your support so that no one else accidentally harms a billionaire. Let me quickly pull up that link so that we can share this right now. Inshallah, it is live. There we go. Folks, if you can, give this a little like, give this a little retweet. Let the world know that these poor billionaires are in danger. Shout out over there. Let me like I'll lead by example, reposting myself here. So do go ahead and please do retweet this. The world needs to see, the world needs to know why you should boycott the Solana phone. Look how sad these billionaires are. I also love that every bald guy in every video is now just Mert. So that is very funny. Testimony asks, how are billionaires poor? In fact, that is indeed the joke. Angela saying endangered billionaires. That's right. We got to save these endangered billionaires. Okay, folks, I know we stayed late and a bunch of you did, and I appreciate it. And let me show you how much I appreciate it. What we're going to do right now is a little giveaway from our friends over at Etherfuse. Last month, if you were on the call, you would have gotten access to a giveaway of Mexican bonds that have been tokenized, approved by the Mexican government, tokenized and put on chain, where you earn APY and get to keep the principal at the end. Today, we have another one for you. The good folks at Etherfuse have now added in US treasuries, US tokenized treasuries, fully on chain, only possible on Solana. If you want a piece of these $10,000 that they put up for grabs, scan this QR code right now. Scan that QR code and then go to app.etherfuse.com to claim. Hopefully this works for everyone here. It'll give you a taste of what RWAs are like on Solana. RWAs, real world assets, tokenized treasuries brought on chain. It's hard if you don't live in America, if you don't have a brokerage account to get access to treasuries. But treasuries are the risk-free investment of the world. They are valuable and people should get those. Stable bonds may not be supported in all regions. Not fully global just yet, but it is starting to get there. So we'll leave this up on screen for just another second or two. Shout out to the stable bond team over at Etherfuse. I think it's working for some people. It does not seem to be working for others. If it is not working, you can go over to the Solana Telegram group chat and we will help you troubleshoot over there. It's possible that it's just getting slammed by like literally thousands of people right now. And so it might just take a second if it's not supporting your region. I do apologize, but you got to talk to your senator. So that takes us to the end here. A few people have got it, which is good. Please do scan this QR code for the ecosystem call POAP. They say that this is the best art on all of Solana. Shout out to Srijani, who puts this all together. All due respect to DGen Poet and Dr. Revel and all the rest. But scan this to get the POAP. You got to collect them all, So you can scan this right now. There's also a link that Srijani has just put into the chat. Srijani, who loves DGen Poet, not taking shots. You can click this. It is a tip link. Shout out to the friends over at TipLink for putting this together. You're going to want to get this POAP, folks, because there are some airdrops coming for the people of the POAP. If it doesn't work the first time, give it 30 seconds and then try it again, because a lot of people are slamming this at the same time trying to view it right now. And so it'll take a little second. Okay, folks, that's going to start to do it towards the end for us here. I would say if you enjoyed this, come join us IRL next time. There are, again, I think 50 watch parties all around the world. Just getriver.io/superteam to find those. You can host one yourself in any country. We will pay your costs and help you market it. Bring the community together in real life. There's nothing like it. Host it or attend it is great. If you can, join us in the in the Solana OG's Telegram group, where we can troubleshoot for anyone who needs it, drop some alpha, and do some other fun things. So you can join us in Telegram, which is great. And lastly, we have a nice little airdrop for everyone that gets the POAP from our friends over at Pawn, which is a meme coin from the Dean's List folks and some others. I think Tanny.Sol is really leading the charge here. You'll be getting a free Pawn airdrop if you got the POAP. It's not financial advice, obviously, so you should do whatever you like. Shout out to the Pawn DAO, Tanny.Sol, putting that together. So that is about it. Folks, I know we went over. Hopefully you agree it was worth it. It was a banger of a call with people from all over crypto. All I can say now is thank you so much for coming. The community is as strong as ever. We will see you next month, first Thursday of the month, IRL and virtual, for even more Solana goodness. Goodbye. And the song always ends a little bit too fast. But thanks everyone for coming. Drop a little W in the chat on your way out. I will show some of these. Shout out to everyone on the team who makes this happen. Myself, Cash Standa, Sherber of Super Team, Srijani, crew who's helped so much on the graphics, and Chris.Sol, who does all the work on the meetups. Thank you to everyone who came. Thank you. I love seeing these W's rain down. Thank you to everyone who spoke. And thanks to everybody else. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here, folks. I'll stick around for a little bit. I'll play a little bit of music.